Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am kind of interested to share this story with you guys. I'm tinkering around with my Game Face Trion here as we just got back from one of our events down in Cincinnati this past weekend, and we had a blast. I ran the Game Face Trion the entire time, save for pulling out the old Nightingale to get some quick kills and quick shots off in close range. But nevertheless, this has been such a blast to actually use and play with. This is the second Nerf war that I've been to where I've used it, aside from plinking and target shooting out in the backyard and on the range, and then as well as out here in the office. But yeah, so I wanted to share a story with you guys. About, and this is going to be a little bit different. I know I kind of say that in some of my videos. This is going to be a little bit different video than normal. This is more about customer service. I want to preface this with kind of like the reason why I feel I believe I'm allowed to, and one is allowed to argue and provide kind of like a negative feedback. Is kind of what I'm thinking. As long as, and the reason why I say that, like negative feedback or complain about customer service or about a company, I don't believe everybody has the right to do that. And I think one of the stipulations or one of the requirements that allows you to do that is not that you're a customer. Just buying something shouldn't give you the right to do that. But what gives you the right, in my opinion, to complain to a company or request a refund or ask to speak to a manager or whatever the case may be, one of the reasons why I think, or the main reason why I think you're able to do that, is if you in turn provide good feedback or good customer service feedback to managers. If you don't do both of those, all you are really doing is just complaining. And that's my personal opinion. You can have a different opinion. That's fine. No worries here. But the way I approach customer service and the way I approach customer feedback is, you got to take the good with the bad. If you receive good customer service, you need to be willing to call the manager over and give that waiter or waitress, high remarks. Not just leaving a big tip, but calling the manager over and say, hey, you know what? Jim did an excellent job today. I don't know if he's new or if he's experienced. I couldn't tell, but he did a phenomenal job. Our drinks never were empty. Appetizers were out on time. Food was cooked perfectly. So we know that he relayed the information to the chef well. And by all means, hats off to the chef as well. But I feel like if you don't do that part, you don't deserve the right to, oh my God, this waiter was horrible. Like, our drinks were not on time, our food was, came out at separate times, and, one person was done eating before the next person even got their food, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like you have to be able to do the both. So the long and short, prefacing this video is that. But good news is, my interaction with Game Face was actually really good. So many of you that have watched my original review of the Game Face Trion noticed that there was an issue with the air seal, in the sense that when you primed it, covered the barrel, and pulled the trigger, there was, at least on mine, a significant amount of air lease, that audible air lease, to where there was nothing left in the plunger if you left it sealed on the end of the barrel. Many of you mentioned in the comments, like, hey, are you going to address this? Are you going to talk about how to mod your blaster so it doesn't do that? And yeah, I'm going to talk about that in the video that I'm kind of in the middle of making inside of this video. It's kind of weird. This is like a 3 video inside. It's like inception. Like, this is like the inside of a video that I'm kind of lost myself at this point. But no, anyway, I am going to address that in an upgrade video for the Game Face Trion. But I wanted today to talk about my interaction with the customer service rep. And his name was Matt. Yeah, Matt with Game Face Customer Service. Matt, Awesome job, ma'am. I truly, truly appreciate your professionalism, your ability to get back to me in a timely manner. And when it was a little bit longer than normal, you had a reason for that. So let's talk a little bit about what happened. So I sent an email in through their customer support ticketing system on their website, thinking that would be the best way, to get my voice heard, not just send an email and have it go into this, oblivion. I want to go through what they've set up for their customer support tickets. I don't have the exact what I wrote down in here because it wasn't part of the email reply, which is unfortunate. But it said something along the lines of, "Hey, I love the Game Face Trion. It's a significant improvement over what I currently have." I mentioned the Nexus. It might actually take the place of my Nexus depending on how my use case goes with it over the next couple months. But I noticed during my review of it that it has a significant air leak. And I was just curious if there's a way to return it and get a different one, or what are my options? Do you send out replacement parts, or do you have, a video I can watch to repair it? Or am I just kind of stuck? And I left those options open, fully intending to still use the blaster in its current form with the air leak and all, because I was getting phenomenal numbers. I mean, I've got the numbers right here. So with the two springers, I'm still hitting over 200 feet per second average. And with, the one springer, between 170 and 190, and single springer, you're looking at, 130 to 160, depending on what darts you're using. So yeah, absolutely. This thing is running really well. I'm just curious if it could be better, or do I have a lemon, or do I have something that might be getting worse over time? If it's not, most cases, like with the Nexus, it was in front of the, right behind the dart where the pusher meets that kind of plasticky area right before the metal barrel. But with this one, it sounded like it was a little bit further back, and that's what had me really concerned. Was maybe my plunger tube has a crack in it or isn't sealed correctly. And if that's the case, is it only going to get worse over time? And that's really what was bothering me, was hey, if it's cracked and, yeah, it's not a problem right now, but in, 8 to 12 months when my warranty's out and they're not willing to replace it or whatever, am I just kind of left with a, crappy, $80 paperweight? That was my main concern. So I heard back, I think I sent the email or sent that in on a Sunday night. And I got a message back Monday, the next day, and it was refreshing. So the first thing that Matt said, and he did whatever another customer service rep would do, and I'll read it right verbatim. So, what exactly makes you think that there's an air leak in the blaster? We can always get the unit in and get it looked at, but I would just like some clarification as what the issue you're seeing. And I had no problem with that. That, to me, that's excellent customer service, because they're trying to figure out where the problem is before I send the blaster in and I'm without a blaster for a week, 2 weeks, or whatever the case may be, until they send it back. He could easily send it oh yeah, put it in a box, send it, or we'll send you a box, put it in the box, send it back, we'll pay for shipping or whatever. He could have done that, and I would have been oh yeah, that's great, and then send it off, and I'm out without my blaster for a week, 2 weeks, whatever, and he comes back with a letter saying, oh yeah, that's normal. Okay, great. That would have been the worst case scenario, because I'm without my blaster that I just purchased for 2 weeks, and come to find out there's nothing you can do about it. So the clarification question, 100%, absolutely love it. So I respond with absolutely. So typically with a sealed system like the Game Face Trion, when you prime the blaster and plug or seal the end of the barrel, you should be able to pull the trigger and the plunger will move very little, if at all, until you remove the seal at the end of the barrel. With my Trion, I hear air escaping somewhere around the air stem and the plunger tube when I pull the trigger. So I was trying to convey that it wasn't in the front here where the dart goes, the dart goes into the barrel, but it sounded like it was coming back further. I linked a video to my review with exactly where it was in the review, the timestamp or whatever. And I said, if this helps, great. If not, I hope I conveyed what's happening. So then like a week went by and I was like, I'm not going to get any response back. Like this is, whatever, fine. And I kind of let it go. I was like, I was still having fun with the blaster. Like I was like, whatever. Like I spent $80 on it. I'm going to enjoy it. So he says, hello, Joe. I apologize for the delay in my response. I wanted to get with the engineering team before replying. And I was like, whoa, so we're getting another department involved, not just some customer service mumbo jumbo. We're getting another team involved. And he continues, the Trion isn't designed to have a perfect seal, and we don't claim so. Even without a perfect seal, we are still outperforming any blaster at our price point. This is kind of a sales pitch, like, yeah, we're better than everybody else at this price point. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, I get you. You kind of toot your own horn. I get it. It's a great blaster. I got you. In fact, your blaster specifically from the chrono readings outperforms anything we've tested, so you may have an issue with your chrono. Since I've received this, I've tested a few other blasters, and it's pretty much the same. There's a few variations, but you're going to get that. We've actually tested the difference between our current design and a modified version with a complete seal, and the difference was trivial. It only gets you about an extra 5 feet per second on average. Since the air leak is so slow when fired, you hardly lose any air. And that's actually very, very true. Like, even though you don't have an entirely tight air seal, it's not like you pull the trigger and the plunger goes poof. Like, there's a slow enough leak that it's coming out of somewhere, but when you pull the trigger, air is going to push the dart out, and it's just going to be, pretty much behind it anyway. So he's absolutely right in saying that. I hope this clears up for you a bit. We can always get yours in to be warranted if you aren't happy with it. But like I said, unless your chrono is reading wrong, you have the most powerful Trion we've tested. I was like, that's right, baby. So I reply, I was like, thanks for the response and checking with me. Trust me, I'm super excited and impressed with the Trion. So much that I've shelved my modded Nexus Pro and started using the Trion as my main primary in all future foam wars. I wanted to verify that the unit wasn't defective. I truly do appreciate your transparency with your company. This is something that I appreciate very, very much. And I kind of asked him a couple, side questions like, oh, do you have any plans for like barrel attachments and stuff like that, just to kind of keep the conversation going, see if I could get a little bit more, YouTuber trying to find some information, and I didn't hear back. And so after not hearing back for a while, I did, I knew I was going to make a video about it, and I wanted to give him props right in the video. So I asked him, because I didn't get his name. I was like, hey, what's your name? I'm curious as to what your name is. And he responded, yeah, my name is Matt. I'm with Game Face customer service. And then he also says that they don't have any release plans for aftermarket barrel attachments or anything like that. Let's see here. This may be something we look at in the future, but we are focused on creating and releasing new quality products at this time, aka the pistol that they just announced a couple days ago. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, I am 100% satisfied with this interaction. Like, it is phenomenal. Like the not only the responsiveness, the ability to go above and beyond. Like, he didn't have to go to the engineering team and say, hey, what, have we tried this? Is this a problem? What if we did have an air seal? What would that do for us? Like, and I'm assuming he actually did all that. Like, I'm not hoping that they didn't just say that, but the timeline warranted it. So I'm kind of feeling like, oh yeah, that he's a man of his word, and I'm putting my trust into this man. Yeah, so Customer service is definitely a thing. Like if you had to choose between, two blasters, and one of the companies was known for better customer service than the other, you would most definitely buy from the company that had better customer service. Let alone if one blaster company had worse customer service, poor. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the Game Face customer service team, is at least Matt. I don't know if Matt represents, Game Face as a whole, but my interaction with Matt over the course of the 2.5, 3 weeks that I was communicating with him was phenomenal. So anyway, guys, that's today's video. I wanted to get that out for you and just make sure you're aware of that interaction. But they do, and the one thing I do want to mention is they don't claim on anywhere in the packaging, anywhere in the information, the books, that to have a perfect air seal. That's just something as a hobbyist that we kind of look for. And if you're having a problem with your air seal, like I was, the slow air leak or the audible air leak, then it is normal. Now, if you're having, the plunger just kind of releasing all the way, that might be a little bit more of a defective product. You might want to reach out to the customer service team or customer support. But otherwise, just having that barrel, or that plunger kind of leak just a little bit at a time, like I was having. Again, I'll link to the review if you haven't seen it. It was, let me double check here. It was, in my review, it was at the 24-minute and 53-second mark. So if you want to jump right to that, if you haven't seen it, there's an example for you. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Highly recommend Game Face, not only for the awesome Trion blaster, but for the great customer service. Make sure you leave a comment down below, like the video, all that other garbage. I truly appreciate you watching the videos and responding comments. I love all that stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.